even before Michael Jordan won the title in 91. From 88 on, it was clear that Michael Jordan, even with Larry Bird or Magic Johnson winning championships, it was clear that Michael Jordan was the best player in the world. Larry Bird called him God in gym shorts.
Stephen A. Smith has finally had enough. For years, the GOAT debate has spiraled out of control, fueled more by emotion, nostalgia, and fan loyalty than by honest basketball evaluation. According to Stephen A., the conversation has drifted away from facts and into fantasy. And now he's putting his foot down. No hypotheticals. No excuses. No selective memory. Just reality. Stephen A. opens his argument with one clear premise. Greatness is not a popularity contest. It is not determined by how long you play, how many records you accumulate over 2 decades, or how beloved you are by the media. Greatness is defined by dominance, control, and the ability to own an era so completely that no real debate exists while you are playing. By that standard, Stephen A. argues Michael Jordan stands alone. He begins by laying out the raw facts. Facts that LeBron supporters often try to explain away rather than confront head-on. Michael Jordan went to the NBA Finals 6 times and won 6 championships. Not once did he allow a final series to reach a Game 7. That detail matters because it speaks to command, not survival. Jordan didn't scrape by. He didn't escape. He imposed his will. When the Bulls reached the finals, the league already knew how the story would end. Stephen A. contrasts this with LeBron James' finals record. 10 appearances for championships. 6 losses. That alone doesn't make LeBron inferior. Stephen A. admits, but prevents him from surpassing Jordan. Because the GOAT isn't measured by effort or endurance. He's measured by results when the pressure is absolute. Jordan never failed on the biggest stage. LeBron, however great, has. Then Stephen A. shift the conversation to something even more damaging to the LeBron argument. Two-way dominance. Jordan wasn't just a scorer. He was a defensive terror. 10 scoring titles. Defensive Player of the Year. Multiple all-defensive first-team selections. He didn't rest on one end of the floor. He hunted greatness everywhere. Stephen A. emphasizes that Jordan's impact was total: offense, defense, leadership, and psychological warfare. And that psychological edge is where Stephen A. believes the debate truly ends. Jordan didn't just beat opponents physically. He broke them mentally. Teams entered series already doubting themselves. Players changed their careers after facing him. Coaches altered entire game plans just to slow him down, knowing full well it wouldn't be enough. Jordan created inevitability. That aura, Stephen A. argues, has never existed around LeBron in the same way. Stephen A. also stresses the importance of era. Jordan dominated during a time when basketball was brutally physical. Hand-checking was legal. Fouls were harder to draw. Defensive schemes were allowed to be far more aggressive. And yet Jordan still averaged over 30 points per game for his career. He didn't need spacing, pace inflation, or favorable whistles. He thrived in chaos. LeBron's era, by contrast, is faster, more open, and more offensively friendly. That doesn't diminish LeBron's skill, but it changes the context. Stephen A. insists that when context is applied honestly, Jordan's achievements grow larger, not smaller. Another point Stephen A. hammers home is finality. Jordan's career has closure, a beginning, a rise, a peak, and a definitive end. 6 titles, 2 three-peats. Walked away as the undisputed best player alive. There was no lingering question, no chasing validation, no need to stack achievements to silence critics. The verdict was already delivered. With LeBron, the conversation never stops. Every new milestone comes with a counterargument. Every achievement requires explanation. Every season adds numbers, but not finality. Stephen A. believes this constant need for justification is itself proof that LeBron never fully closed a debate. And this is where Stephen A. delivers his sharpest criticism, not of LeBron, but of LeBron fans. He accuses them of arguing from emotion rather than evidence, of confusing admiration with evaluation, of treating Jordan's accomplishments as outdated simply because they happened earlier. Stephen A. reminds everyone that history does not expire. Dominance doesn't fade because time passes, and he makes it clear. Acknowledging Jordan as a GOAT does not disrespect LeBron. LeBron is an all-time great, a top 2 or top 3 player ever, a generational force. But GOAT status is different. It is reserved for the player who left no doubt, no cracks, no unanswered questions. Stephen A.'s final message is blunt and unapologetic. When the rings are counted, when the performances are weighed, when defense, dominance, era, and psychological impact are factored in, the answer does not change. Michael Jordan remains the standard, not because of nostalgia, not because of mythology, but because no one, not even LeBron James, has surpassed the totality of what he was. For Stephen A. Smith, the debate isn't ongoing anymore. It's over. The facts have spoken, and emotions, no matter how loud, cannot rewrite basketball history.
The obvious. You do know that MJ has 6 titles, right? And LeBron has 4. You do know that, right? You do know that MJ was undefeated in all 6 NBA Finals appearances. Do you know that? You do know that Michael Jordan never allowed an NBA Finals series to get to a 7th game. Did you know that? I'm sure you did. Did you know he's a 10-time champion? And LeBron has won a scoring title 1 time? Did you know he's a 9-time first-team all-defensive player? LeBron James did that 5 times. Did you know that Michael Jordan is the former Defensive Player of the Year, 1988? LeBron James has never won a Defensive Player of the Year.
Stephen A. Smith then pivots to what he believes is the most underrated but decisive separator in the entire GOAT debate. Dominance on both ends of the floor, especially when everything is on the line. He makes it clear that this is not an attack on LeBron James. In fact, he gives LeBron his flowers openly. He calls him a worthy number 2 all-time, which in itself is an enormous compliment in a league that has seen thousands of elite players. But Stephen A. is equally clear about one thing. The gap between number 1 and number 2 is not small, and it is not negotiable. Stephen A. emphasizes that LeBron's greatness is undeniable, but greatness alone does not make someone the GOAT. What matters is how consistently that greatness shows up when the pressure is absolute. This is where he brings up a brutal reality that LeBron fans struggle to accept. LeBron James has been swept in a best-of-7 playoff series, more than once, on the biggest stages, against elite competition. And that matters. Why does it matter? Because Michael Jordan never allowed that to happen. Not once. Not in the first round. Not in the finals. Not at his peak. Not even during his later years. Jordan never let an opponent embarrass him over a 7-game series. Even when he lost early in his career, he fought, he resisted, and he forced teams to feel him. There was always resistance. There was always danger. Stephen A. points out that this isn't just about wins and losses. It's about presence. Jordan's presence alone ensured that no team ever felt comfortable enough to completely overwhelm him. Even when the Bulls weren't ready to win titles, Jordan made every series a war. You could beat him, but you could not erase him. Then Stephen A. sharpens a blade even further. He reminds everyone that Jordan never allowed a final series to reach a Game 7. Think about that. 6 finals appearances, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. Not once did he let the ultimate stage come down to a coin flip. That is not luck. That is not circumstance. That is command. Stephen A. explains that when Jordan entered the finals, he closed doors. He didn't leave hope alive. He didn't give opponents room to breathe. He crushed belief. That is what separates the greatest from the great. LeBron, on the other hand, has had finals where the series slipped away, where momentum shifted, where control was lost. Again, that doesn't make LeBron bad. It simply keeps him from being Jordan. Stephen A. stresses that these details expose a mentality difference. Jordan played every playoff series like his reputation was on the line. Every possession mattered. Every matchup was personal. There was no coasting, no deferral, no waiting for the moment to come to him. He took the moment. This is where the two-way dominance comes back into focus. Jordan didn't just score at will. He defended with malice. He guarded the other team's best perimeter player. He disrupted passing lanes. He took pride in shutting people down. LeBron has been a great defender at times, but he has never built his identity on defensive intimidation the way Jordan did. Jordan wanted to beat you and break you. Stephen A. makes it painfully clear that context is everything. Getting swept in a 7-game series means you were never truly in control. Jordan never allowed that narrative to exist. Even when he lost, the league knew he was coming. With LeBron, there are moments where dominance faded, where a series ended without resistance, and where questions lingered afterward. And this is the heart of Stephen A.'s argument. The GOAT does not leave room for doubt. The GOAT does not need explanations. The GOAT does not require emotional defense from fans. His resume speaks so loudly that arguments die on arrival. Stephen A. concludes this segment by reinforcing a truth that many don't want to hear. LeBron James is phenomenal, historic, one of the greatest athletes the sport has ever seen. But when you analyze two-way impact, playoff control, finals dominance, and mental warfare, the evidence points in only one direction. Jordan didn't just win more when it mattered. He failed less, cracked less, and surrendered less ground than anyone who has ever played the game. That consistency at the highest level is what creates separation. And that separation, Stephen A. insists, is why LeBron, despite everything he's accomplished, still falls short of Michael Jordan.